Got both games up there.
Fantasy sports and politics. Get ready to rumble! You wanna talk back? You in the right place. So take a step back before I get all up in your face. I know you got to live, you know I got mine. But there's like 50 other dudes holding on the phone line. Your voice will be heard, sir. Next caller, please. And if I don't concur, we can agree to disagree. We're talking fantasy sports and politics. Fantasy sports and politics. Fantasy sports and politics. Fantasy sports and politics.
Jerry, we don't raise the roof anymore. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, those of you watching us on YouTube, Facebook, and Twitch, Alan Roberts. I'm calling you out. Alan Roberts, Air Force. I'm calling you out at the top of the show. You fake wannabe new senior NCO. You suck. Fantasy-wise, you suck.
Oh, wow.
You just suck at life.
Wow.
Y'all talking that trash in the chat. I'm calling you out on the show. Now watch one of your little girlfriends, boys, go tell you I called you out.
Oh, wow.
I hope they do.
Well, let me ask you something.
No, hold on. I'm not finished. I am not bothered by the insignificance of you and the little Air Force folks.
Air Force?
Yeah, they're Air Force.
What? You talking about those Boy Scouts that fly in the air?
Well, they normally sit in their chairs.
Oh,
and,
okay.
Or in Alan's case, he's on the flight line looking for trash or something. I don't know. He's not that important. But I just wanted to make him a little important this morning so that I could, get out my system. Because TSA 14, I'm going to show y'all. They're trying to call and do a video chat right now. They're trying to call. Somebody is. I should bring them on live. Shouldn't I bring them on live, Jerry? I'm going to bring them on live.
There you go. I'm going
to bring these TSA losers live on air. Because I've been calling out, Alan J. Roberts, for the past, 2 minutes? Call him a punk, a female.
Wow. Really?
Female genitalia.
It's been like that?
It's been like that.
Oh, my God.
They've been butt dialing the whole group and stuff like that.
Well,
so I'm just letting them do it.
Well, let me say this. Butts do butt dialing.
Oh, yeah.
Butts do butt dialing.
I mean, you've done it.
Yeah.
And I don't know if y'all can hear. I think I heard P yelling, "Are y'all out y'all mind?" Da, 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 da. So all I did was, since he wants to do a TSA call, I called out Mr. Alan Roberts. Listen, these are young folks. They don't understand what reach means. And it's okay, because they just don't understand. Now, they're talking about keepers and all that. Look, the commission ain't said nothing yet, but they just worried like little hens. I invited them on the show. Dave, I can put your last name out there because I kind of like you. Who else? Oh, Jared Butler. I'm not going to put you out there right now, but say one more word. Say one more word. One more word. One more.
You know how I feel about TSA, man. That's one of the reasons why I'm saying I'm out. I'm out.
Hey, it's all good.
Oh, God. Really? Oh, my God.
But anyway, I just want to get that out there because I was in there and they acting foolish. So it looks like
that ain't nothing new.
I'm going to say Alan, Steven, and Jarrett joined the video chat.
Good.
So
good.
Alan heard me calling them out, talking about them.
Mm-hmm.
Steven is our friend. They don't like Steven, but Steven, he just keeps it real. He keeps it on 100. He makes some shady deals, but he keeps it on 100.
Keep it on 100. Damn right. My type of guy.
And Jerry, he just up Paris's butt. It's like if Paris needed somebody to like clip his hairs. How far do you need to go up there, boss? Come up at me, Jared. Come on.
Oh, wow.
Come at me.
Wow.
No filter. Well, we had a show called No Chaser before. I'm going to call it No Filter.
He got chased away, though.
He did.
He got chased away.
He did.
Because he couldn't keep it 100.
Good point. We're not talking about Jared. We're talking about the person that did the No Chaser show.
He couldn't keep it 100.
But Jared can't either. I mean, he gotta. I'm gonna be quiet, Jared. I'm gonna keep quiet. I don't want in no marriages.
Wow.
Anyway.
Anyway.
Hey, ladies and gentlemen.
Okay.
Sports and politics.
Here we go.
I'm in a mood. I'm just gonna put it out there. I'm in a mood.
Hey, well, let me put it this way. The time I was there, I was in the mood with the TSA just like you are now.
Well,
ready to fire up on them.
The difference is this, Jerry.
Yeah.
You're more of a calm down grasshopper. Okay, young buck sitting. I'm like, no. And like I told my sons, and we were arguing last night because they're young. One of them had the nerve to disparage Dr. King. And I'm like,
what?
You stupid. But that's this generation. That's this generation.
Yeah.
They don't understand the things your generation and the one before that had to go through in order to get us here.
Yeah.
And I'm the Generation X, where I saw a lot of benefit from what your generation and the generation before went through, just so I can be looked at and have the same activities as others. And the reason why I don't get so hard on these TSA folks all the time, but I'm like, you know what, they need to learn. Because Paris is in your generation group. No, he's not.
Not quite.
He's in mine. He just made the cut in mine, if I'm not mistaken. But the rest of those dudes, they're in their, early 30s, late 20s. But they have the mentality of this Generation Z or whatever it is, folks.
Yeah.
Like, you can say things with no consequence. You can behave a certain way with no real consequence. And that's not the life. That's not the life. Just like we talk about fantasy football. The Green Bay Packers put themselves in a place with Love. Pretty much, they told Aaron Rodgers 2-3 years ago, you know what, Aaron, we're pretty much through with you. You don't have much to offer us. So, we're gonna draft this kid Love in the first round instead of giving you help in a receiver in the first round. All Aaron Rodgers did was go out there and prove 3 years straight. There's a reason why he is recognized as one of the best quarterbacks in the NFL. Maybe he only has one Super Bowl. Okay, cool. But he proved that Love needs to stay on the sideline. And when he was like, okay, well, you know what? I'm out. Instead of saying, fine, we'll work our way through with Love, they gave him a new contract. A hefty new contract. And Love continues to stink up the joint. Last night, Love stunk up the joint. 2 interceptions in preseason.
Three.
Okay, 3 interceptions in preseason against second and third tier players, because if I'm not mistaken, the 49ers they didn't play their starters on defense, but like for a series, if that. I don't know. But this generation has a thing about entitlement, the ability to just talk and just say whatever they want to say. And when it's time to face the person, it's whatever. Until they got to face the person. You know what I'm saying? I'm not mad with nobody. Do I flex? Yes, I flex. Because when these young people get in a situation where they, and here's the thing. I know you're watching football. I know folks are watching football or whatever. I want you to understand something. When you get in a space where you only care about your little small orbit and you don't care what happens to things or people around your small orbit,
Right.
You miss out on so many things that happen that will affect your small orbit. So when you say, for example, I don't care what people think about me or my race, as long as I get what I want, or I do what I need, or they don't affect the people that I love. Really? Because the things that are affecting them are going to affect you.
Yeah.
You might not see it directly, but indirectly it will. Now, that brings me to what's going on in Chicago. Now, Roquan Smith is the #1 rated IDP linebacker for a lot of sites and a lot of people that play IDP. He's not for me. We're talking about IDPs, linebacker IDPs today. He's not for me.
How many you going to go through and what order are you going in? From 1 to
We're going from 15 to 1.
Okay.
I'm just letting the folks know Roquan is not my #1. He feels as though Chicago is trying to take advantage of him. He feels as though that his market value is more than what they offered him. And I will say this. Roquan Smith is a tackling machine, but Roquan Smith needs to be healthy. And Roquan Smith needs to be on the field. The best ability in sports is what, Jerry?
Availability.
Availability. And if you can please look at the camera instead of looking at the TV, that would be much appreciated.
Let me put it this way. When you asked me a question, I was looking back there, I was listening. I was listening to you. So as soon as you asked the question, I answered you. So I'm paying attention.
But you know, on the show, you know, we're supposed to give our full attention to the show, right?
I understand. I understand.
Thank you.
I understand. But
that's all I was asking.
Your boy happened to be on a play here, and I want to see what he did. Okay.
Who's my boy?
Baker. Carolina's playing your Commanders.
I know they are. Oh, you know what? I forgot.
I'm looking at. I'm looking at.
I know. I forgot to have that service on this TV down here.
Yep.
Because I got that service on the TV upstairs in my man cave. I'm not in my man cave today. So I'm going to turn to that.
And if he plays well, I'm going to give him props. No problem. I ain't got no problem with that. If he plays better, I'm going to tell you about it.
You're going to tell me about him regardless. You're going to say, oh, he shouldn't have took that sack. When actually, he should have took the sack.
No.
Okay. Jerry.
Let me put it this way. I hear he's doing very well in Carolina. I hear he's doing very well in Carolina.
Hold on. Tony said I wouldn't watch. Tony, come on, baby. You got to stop hating, man. Is it on Fox?
That is on. You talk about the Commanders game?
Yeah.
The Commanders game is, hold on, NBC.
NBC.
Washington, D.C., NBC.
No, I got you.
You liked my service, huh?
Dude, I've been liking it ever since I got it.
Good. That's good. I'm glad.
I didn't get the new one, though. I didn't get the new one because I'm cool. But you know what? Those premium channels, they went from having the wonderfulness to a lot of vanilla, and I'm like, eh.
Well, most of them is vanilla, but there's a lot of chocolate sprinkled in there. Trust me.
Okay. Well, we're talking about the chocolate of the Chicago Bears right now.
Tony is shouting out to you, my man. Oh my God.
Wentz and Mayfield. That's like watching. You know what? You know what? Tony, come on the show. You know how to do it. If you want to come on the show, Tony, you want to talk that yin yang, Tony. And you're a Commander fan. My dude.
Oh,
Tony
got smacked.
Has done it again.
Oh,
listen, Jerry. Let's finish talking about Raekwon, okay?
Okay, go ahead. I don't know why. You know, I know you got Raekwon within the top 4, but why are we talking about that when we can talk about?
I wanted to bring up the issue of the generation.
Okay.
Like you said, the
what is that?
Like
what?
What is it? Or like I was saying, like Raekwon was saying, the team is disrespecting him. And I'm like, I don't know if that's actually the case because of the availability of this guy. That's the problem. If you're not going to be available for more than 13 games, but you want top dollar at the linebacker position, I'm a little worried. Because if I can't count on you to be there.
Wait a minute. Time out. Victor, you're sadly mistaken. I'm looking at the games he played, and there's only one season back in 2019 that he played 12 games. Every other game he's played at least 16 or 17, including last year. So he's been available. He's been nicked up quite a bit. Meaning, I'm not saying that every player, and you've corrected me, and I'll take that. But I've seen games where he's on the sideline when he shouldn't be. He should be an every down linebacker. Well, isn't that? And not only an every down linebacker, but the player that leads the defense and is at the ball first. What do I mean by that? I mean by that? Well, let me ask you a question here. Do you know the actual reason that he was on the sidelines? I don't. Was it because he was nicked up for some reason, or because the coaches pulled him off the field for whatever reason? Well, there's two. Those two reasons have the same answer. Well, because coach can never pull you off the field if you are that team leader, unless you are really messing up. If you are nicked up, you're playing through that nick. If you are injured, you're not on the field. There's a difference. That's my point. I understand. The availability of that player, if you are the best player and you want the money to be that best player at your position, which by all means, the brother has ability. He has ability. But I agree with Adam Schefter's report that it's not the Bears screwing him over. That's just my opinion. From what I've seen, his numbers are good, most assuredly. Yeah, they're good. Rated. Last two seasons, 150 tackles. Correct. That's work. I understand that's work, but that's not the totality of his career. We always talk about how somebody gets when they're coming to the, last year of the contract. In this case, the last 2 years of the contract. Mm-hmm. Washington has a player right now, Curtis Samuels. Balled out in his last year of his contract. Came here, got paid, can't stay healthy. Couldn't stay healthy his entire career in Carolina until the last year of his contract. Not one of my favorite players. I understand that. Yeah. Tony, I thought I sent you the invite, but he says
the Bears screw everybody over. They probably do. But right now we're talking about the IDPs. And my first IDP at number 15 is a guy Washington should have drafted instead of Jamin Davis. But because of the kid's size, he fell, I believe, to the second or third round of his particular draft. And I love this kid. His coach has spoken highly of him, saying he should be the leader of the defense this year. Now, when I show you the name, you're going to be like, him? According to his head coach, yes. Jeremiah Owusu Karamoa, JOK, is my number 15. Now, Jeremiah last year in 14 games, 48 tackles, 1.5 sacks, 4 pass defense. That's not big numbers, but I guarantee you, JT, I fully guarantee you, when the head coach says he should be the leader of the defense this year, those numbers are going to jump dramatically. Say what you got to say, and I'm going to bring Tony in. You got anything to say?
He only played 14 games last year.
I know that. He's number 15. But the coach,
I have him,
and I really believe he's going to play all 17.
I have him lower. I have him lower than that, and he's my Cleveland Brown. I have him lower than that because I think
we're going to talk about the Cleveland Browns.
No problem, man. No problem.
We're going to talk about Deshaun Watson.
Let me ask you something here. Do you believe in equal time? If you're going to talk about my Cleveland Browns, can we talk about your Washington Commanders?
Am I going to talk about them? Yes. You know why? Okay. I'm not going to have a choice. I'm not going to have a choice when I bring Tony on.
Okay.
I'm not going to have a choice. So that's fine. And Tony's going to do all the dogging for you and me, but I'm going to have to be defensive.
No, wait a minute. Time out. Do you think he's going to dog the Commanders out, or is he going to keep it 100? Hello?
It's going to be both. He's going to dog him out by keeping it 100, but the way he's going to dog him out is going to sound so disrespectful. It's going to sound like he's not even a fan.
Well, that's because a diehard Commanders fan thinks that way, that he's going to dog him out versus keeping it 100. Keep it real. Keep it real.
I am honest. I'm an honest Washington fan.
No, you're not. No, you're not. No, you're looking through.
No, he's talking about him. He ain't talking about me, but I am. I am an honest Washingtonian.
You're looking through rose-colored glasses. So you try everything is rosy with the Commanders. You don't see it with clear lenses.
I do. Are you done talking so I can bring him on?
Bring him on. You could bring him on with me talking. There's no problem. Just do it. You know,
Tony. I see you playing the Wii right now. Playing tennis. How you watching the game on the show and playing the Wii?
I got both TVs. That's how I roll around here.
That's how you roll around now? All right. So listen.
Wow.
So tell the people. We're talking about linebackers. I want you to remember that. We're talking about linebackers. Okay?
Okay.
Number 15, I have Jeremiah
Owusu Karamoa.
And I wanted Washington to grab him instead of Jamin Davis when they were drafted. I think, according to Kevin Stefanski, he's going to be the leader of that defense because he's picked up so much of what needs to be done, and he's going to play better now that he can just react as opposed to figuring out what's going on.
First of all, how you going to be leader of defense? That's Garrett's position.
Well, hey, I didn't say it was a true statement. I just said what he said. But go ahead.
I mean, I think he has talent. Like I think in that defense, because of that front four, could bode well for him to make a name for himself this year. But
Daddy, I
wouldn't have him in the top 15.
I made a 3-pointer.
Okay. You better watch your child right now because he wants you to watch. He said he wants you to see what he's doing.
Oh, we playing basketball on the Wii. He just made 3-pointers. So.
All right, JT, give your thoughts on Mr. Karamoa.
I told
Go to
you,
number 14.
I have him rated a little lower. He's a very good player. Maybe with time, he may become the leader of the defense, but he only played 14 games last year. Show me something that you can play a full complement of games, and that was the first year. Is that an outlier, or is that what we would expect from year to year? I got to see it again.
Again, I understand what you're saying, JT. I understand. But I think the head coach seeing and the other coaches seeing his progress is why, he made the statement he made.
Okay.
It's like, how can I say this? It's like putting Deshaun Watson on that team and proclaiming they're going to go to the playoffs before you even see Deshaun Watson play after being out for a year or two. But we already talked. We haven't gotten there yet. So, but we are going to talk about Deshaun Watson's play from yesterday. My number 14 player happens to be from the Kansas City Chiefs, and young guy. And just to be clear, the Chiefs, in my opinion, have one of the worst defenses in the NFL right now because they're just so inconsistent. And Carson Wentz looks like garbage. Is that Carson Wentz throwing the ball? Did Carson
terrible?
Is that that is Carson Wentz? Oh my God. Okay, I'm sorry. All right,
I try to tell you, don't even worry about watching that.
So, my number 14 player, Nick Bolton, Kansas City Chiefs. Last year, Nick had he played 16 games, 70 tackles, 3 pass defense, 1 fumble recovery, and 1 touchdown. Now, again, this young man is pretty much a young kid coming into his own, right? Is he a linebacker you're going to grab number 1 when you're trying to get your IDPs? I don't think so. I don't like Kansas City's defense at all. Tyrann Mathieu, he's gone. Oh, my God. Carson Wentz with a fumble. This is what people have been saying practice has looked like. I know I'm supposed to keep my composure. I know I'm supposed to be talking about IDPs.
Carson Wentz sucks.
Oh, that wasn't Carson Wentz that fumbled.
It might as well be.
That was Antonio Gibson.
Carson Wentz.
First fumble we've seen. But I've heard there have been major fumble problems with Antonio Gibson during the preseason.
And that's why I keep saying that's why. Hey, there is no, and I'll repeat it, I'll say it 5 times. No running back from the Commanders will ever draft again in fantasy.
Robinson is going to take that job, and I guarantee you he's going to be a bruiser.
Let me tell you something. Let me tell you, Victor, you're looking through rose-colored glasses. I hate to tell you that, but you are looking.
Stop shaking your head, Tony.
You're not looking clear, man. You're not seeing clearly here.
I am seeing clearly.
Look.
I am seeing
Victor.
Can we? Okay, I should have gone off on the tangent.
I
should have gone off on the tangent. Can we talk about Nick Bolton, please?
Before I said this, before we talked about this, and you're still not listening. You're still not listening. I told you. One thing I do study intensively is running backs. Don't Don't go there. I'm telling you, don't go there. Leave Washington running backs alone. Let somebody else pick them up. Don't do it. I'm imploring you. I'm your friend, man. I'm trying to give you some information. I'm trying to help you out, brother. Don't do it.
Tony, I know you just muted yourself. And I know that's not the topic, but your thoughts on what Jerry just said.
As we talked about earlier, a couple weeks ago, Washington's in the rebuild, and you can't rebuild with the Carson Wentz. If you're going to rebuild, you start, again, from the offensive line and work your way out.
Okay.
That the offensive line is shaky looking already. It's not going to do any good. And then the running backs we got, again, none of them have. I mean, yeah, Gibson may have run for 1,000 yards last season, but how much of that 1,000 yards was actually what I call workhorse yardage?
Yeah.
So, again, that run back by committee in some teams it'll work, but with Washington, especially in the rebuild, it's not going to work. And especially being in the division that we're going to be in, it's not going to work. So, yeah, I mean, is Gibson the best option? I wouldn't have paid him nor brought him back, but
he's still on his rookie contract, and I think that's why they drafted Robinson. And the damn Sam Darnold just threw a touchdown. I hate him.
Yep.
But if the defense is going to be on the field a lot, I expect to see that happen because the offense can't do anything. But we're talking about Nick Bolton of the Kansas City Chiefs, linebacker. I shouldn't have gone off on a tangent. I got emotional. I'm wearing my Sean Taylor. So you know I'm emotional right now.
Nick Bolton, I have him at 15. You have him at 14. That's fine. I mean, he's a decent linebacker. I agree. He's a decent linebacker. And the fact is, that was his first year. Okay. I expect him to build off of that first year. Let me put it that way. I expect him to be better this year than he was last year because of a learning experience of being a rookie and being able to understand the league and how to play linebacker in the NFL. I expect him to be better.
Okay. And I know Tony got no say on it because if he did, he would have said something.
Well, I mean, like JT just said, yeah, as a rookie, he had a decent season and he should build upon that. His problem, or Kansas City's problem, is one, the division they're in, the conference they're in. He's going to get exposed a lot, especially having to check those running backs out of the backfield. So, but yeah, I give him a top 15 rating.
Well, speaking of somebody that developed really well last year, and even though they developed well last year, the head coach said they're still looking for a middle linebacker during the draft anyway. But this player almost single-handedly beat the Dallas Cowboys. Almost. Now, I got him number 13 because I love what he does. And he's not because he's a Tar Heel, because I'm not a Tar Heel fan, but I think this kid's going to do well. I like Cole Holcomb at number 13. Last year, Cole Holcomb played 16 games, 83 tackles, 1 sack, 7 pass defense, 2 interceptions, 1 forced fumble, and 1 TD against Dallas. Now, this was when he was not even the starting linebacker. He wasn't even starting linebacker all year. Bostic and somebody else was the other starting linebacker, and they subbed him in. And he's still prone. I believe Holcomb has the goods to be possibly a top 10 linebacker this year, as long as he stays healthy. But I love his numbers. All right, JT, and then we're gonna go to Tony if he's able to.
I like this kid. I think he can be a good all-around linebacker. Unfortunately, he played for the Commanders, but that's okay. I'm not going to I'm not going to hold that against him because he has, to me, he has the goods. He can cover, and he can also 83 tackles last season. When he played 16 games, he had at least 70 tackles. At least 70 tackles. And last season, he had 83. The season before, he only played 11 games, and had 43 tackles. So
and remember,
like
he was a special teamer. He wasn't even a starter, and he wasn't getting a lot of time in those years. Last year was the first time he got significant playing time.
Like I said, I think the coach realized that this kid needs to be on the field a lot more than special teams. No doubt. 7 pass defense and 2 interceptions. To tell me that this kid can cover, and he can pretty much do it all over the field. 83 tackles and 59 assists. Man.
Yeah.
Really?
And he's the smallest linebacker.
Yeah.
He's a small. All right, Tony. You unmuted, so go ahead. Say what you have to say. You're looking like you want to put him down per usual.
I mean, like I said, his size wise will be his to his disadvantage. He does pretty decent coverage, but I think the other thing was that, like I said, inside the reason why he got a lot of those tackles, one, the Washington's front four might as well be a lay down for. And then,
oh my God.
Set up, make a lot of those tackles because that front four is not giving much help on the back. So, but
okay.
He's a top 15. I one more season before I give him.
Okay. Look,
he's coming up though. I give him that.
Okay, that's fair. That's fair to say. I mean, again, this will be his first year being a full-time starter. First time, right? Now, this next player I'm going to talk about. The next player, I normally have this guy in my top 5. I normally do. He's getting long in the tooth, though. He's a player that truly is the heart and soul of a defense. I want to say that honestly, in about that's Robinson running the ball. That dude is a Mack truck. I'm sorry, I got distracted again.
I think you're seeing things. I just saw Carson Wentz overthrow somebody, which is nothing.
I didn't say Carson Wentz. I said Robinson.
I just saw Carson Wentz overthrow somebody. I think I got a few plays.
Your stream might be ahead of my stream.
Yeah, I think so.
Now, Robinson ran the ball well, and he did a screen well. So stop being a pussy.
Overthrowing 17. Overthrowing 17.
I'm not to that point. My stream is not there. Shut your pie hole.
Well,
Let me enjoy Robinson doing the thing.
Wait a minute. You got to take the good with the bad, brother.
We're talking about linebackers.
You got to take the good with the bad.
We're talking about linebackers. And this
I like how you change the subject, but that's okay.
So next up at number 12, I have Levante David.
Go ahead.
David.
Okay.
And I believe in years past, I've had Levante David either number 1 or in my top 5.
You have. Yeah.
But right now, because of his age and his partner, who's going to be higher up in my rankings, Mr. White, has stepped up and taken that mantle away from him a little bit. I think it's safe to say Levante David is still a good player, but he's not a top 10 player. Last year, 12 games out of 17, that means he missed 5 games. He has 63 tackles, 2 sacks, 3 pass defense, 1 fumble recovery. Now, what does that mean? For a guy that used to be the starting middle linebacker, outside linebacker, right? He's still one of the outside linebackers. But Devin White is, in my opinion, the young buck on the come up. Wow, you are like 3 minutes ahead of me because I just saw that play, Jerry. So no, that was Jahad Dotson. That wasn't
No,
Terry
that was McLaurin.
Well, 17. You must be way ahead of me because I just saw Dotson miss. Anyway, let me focus. Tony, I gotta focus.
Yeah, well, you ain't focusing. It's the typical Terry McLaurin. Over your head. Over your head.
I'm about to
typical Carson Wentz.
Okay, again, we're talking about Levante David.
Okay, no problem.
So tell me your thoughts about Levante. He's older, played less games because he's a little bit more injury prone. Just you know, what do you think? I have him in 12.
This is the comparison I have with Levante David. Levante David is a seasoned pro and can show the young buck, just like on the show, can show the young buck how it's done.
Just like
I'm just saying.
Really?
I'm just saying the old head can show the young buck how it's done. I'm just saying.
Okay. Okay. We'll see when we go to Vegas. But anyway, what you got, Tony?
Just keeping it real.
Yeah, David is like you said, he's getting up there in age, but like you said, obviously White is taking that defense, or at least taking the reins of that defense. But David's still I'd say he's still a top 15 linebacker out there. Again, he's
nice catch.
He didn't have the longevity that he's not gonna have the longevity like a Ray Lewis would have had, but
I agree.
He's close. But yeah, I give him within, like you said, between 10 and 12 in the league. Because like I said, there's very few teams that have a duo at linebacker.
Yes.
Put on either side and trust them to do what they're supposed to do. So
absolutely, especially when the league has moved more toward the nickel instead of the traditional 3 linebackers or 4-3. Stop shaking your head, Jerry. I ain't seen shit. It's nothing. I'm on a Popeyes commercial right now. Don't tell me nothing else.
I'm not saying anything. I'm just shaking my head.
Okay, just shake your head. Damn it. Before I start talking about how terrible Deshaun Watson looked yesterday. But I'm not going there. I'm not going there. I'm not going there.
Don't go there. But you know why? Do you know why? Because there's a built-in excuse for Deshaun Watson. He hasn't played in over a year. Wait a minute. And as bad as your quarterback is, he played last year. Hello.
Okay, that's a true statement. But we're not going to talk about that. We're not talking about that.
Okay? Don't come with it.
Here's my Bill Belichick.
Don't come with it.
On to number 11.
Yeah, conveniently for you.
We're moving
another overthrow, another pass throw to 17.
Did I say don't tell me nothing? See, you're disrespectful. You're very disrespectful, you old fart.
I'm just look, Victor. I try to keep it real.
Didn't I say don't tell me? Can I watch it? Can I watch it?
Wait a minute. You don't want to hear one of the best. You don't want to hear one of the best lines.
I don't care about the embarrassment. I told him already. Let me see it happen.
You don't want to hear one of the best lines in A Few Good Men.
Listen, I don't want to hear the truth. Let me see the truth. Let me see the truth.
No.
Talk about number 11.
Moving
on to number 11. The number 11 ranked IDP linebackers. Jerry, you're disrupting the show. I can't wait till tomorrow when you're on StreamYard. I'm going to disrupt like a mofo.
Okay, fine, no problem. But I'm keeping it 100, man.
Again,
hot
you're
trash.
Being disrespectful because I asked you not to tell me. So,
have you seen it yet?
Number 11.
Have you seen it yet?
Number 11 is a player that deserves some love.
Okay.
Logan Wilson.
Okay.
Now, he did not make my top 10, but if you notice during the Super Bowl, and because a lot of people didn't catch a lot of Bengals games, let's be honest.
Yep.
But if you notice during the Super Bowl, he was around the ball a lot.
Yeah, he was.
A lot. Now, his numbers don't do him justice.
Oh, yes, they do.
This year, I think he's going to do great. Last year, he played 13 out of 17 games, 56 tackles, 1 sack, 4 pass defense, 4 interceptions. This is a linebacker.
and 42 assists. So he's constantly around the ball.
As I said, he's always around the ball. But a linebacker with 4 interceptions and making tackles. Logan Wilson is a true baller. I think the referee screwed him on that one play in the Super Bowl where they claimed he had pass interference on Cooper Kupp, which kept the drive alive on the game-winning drive for the Rams. That was a BS call, but I can't, get into it because that's the past. But Logan Wilson, talk to me about Logan Wilson, JT.
You're crying. You're crying about a pass play? Come on, man. Stop. Anyway, I do like this kid. This kid's all around the ball, man. He's about ball, plain and simple. All around the ball. 56 tackles, like you said, 42 assists. And that tells me he's constantly around the ball, especially with 4 pass defenses and interceptions. He's a baller, man. He's a baller.
He is. Tony, what you got on Logan Wilson?
Yeah, I got him. Like you said, top 8, top 9. He'll, especially with that defense in the division they play in, he'll make some market improvements throughout the year. And probably, I wouldn't say he's probably one step from being all pro.
Yep.
But
Yeah.
He'll be a Pro Bowler next year or this season, and then I give him another year before he steps into that all pro lineup.
I'll say this. For me, in order for him to make that leap, like you're saying, Tony, I got to see how he performs against the Baltimore Ravens when they have the complement of their starting running backs. KJ Dobbins and the rest of them. Nice move. Nice move. I like that. Okay, let me focus. But I got to see how
you'll like this.
I'm
not going to say anything, but I'm going to say you'll like this.
I already saw McKissick's great catch and touchdown.
I'm not worried about that.
You need to go to the bathroom.
Oh, that's right. Robinson, standing up, running there like a man. I'm sorry.
Okay.
I'm sorry.
Okay.
He is the truth.
It's only preseason.
I don't care.
Hey, Tony, before you came on, I said the same thing in preseason.
Listen to what I'm telling you. Listen to what I'm telling you.
Okay.
Robinson is a dare. How does Sly keep missing these field? Okay.
Because he's a Carolina.
I know. Yep. Carolina reject.
Exactly.
But okay, I got to focus because we're on linebackers. But Robinson is a big bruiser, and I guarantee you, if we look at what happened, I'm a sidestep for just 1 second. We don't need no comments, but I'm gonna just sidestep for 1 second. Tennessee did the same thing. They had that shifty running back starting, and Derrick Henry was kind of languishing because he wasn't doing what they wanted. They changed the system to fit what Derrick Henry does, and Derrick Henry has been the king ever since. Washington, take note. I like Gibson. He's a receiver turned running back or whatever he was in college, and he's an NFL player. But for what you need to do with Carson Wentz, if Carson Wentz is going to be your quarterback, you need a strong run game.
You know Carson Wentz is one and done.
Yes, he is.
I didn't say he wasn't. I just said he's going to be their quarterback this year. He's going to be their quarterback.
One and done.
That's fine. That's fine. But establish Robinson as that lead dog so that he can.
That is not
like you said, like Tony said, and we're sidestepping because I didn't want no comments, but we're sidestepping. Like Tony said, build that offensive line up, build that defensive line up, and then put somebody behind it. That's why Russell Wilson didn't get that trade. We offered them way more than what Denver did. Russell didn't want to come back.
I thought we were talking about linebackers.
Again, we're on linebackers. Tony,
we were talking
about with Jerry.
I thought we were talking about linebackers.
No.
And, we're just transitioning into running backs, quarterbacks, wide receivers on the Washington Commanders.
Hey,
I
the
thought
game.
but Victor tells you that he has no bias.
Hold on. If you don't tell me what's going on, I wouldn't know. But anyway, on to my number 10.
Okay.
Got me hyped up.
Yeah, I see that. You got yourself hyped up. I didn't do anything. I
My
didn't
number
have
10
anything to do with it.
linebacker is the guy that just can't stay healthy, but I believe he's going to stay healthy this year. CJ Mosley. Because Zach Wilson just got hurt last night from the turf up there in Jerry's world in that stadium in Jersey. Tore a meniscus and sprained his knee.
Is that what it is? They
Yeah.
finally they released what he got? Okay.
Yeah, they said anywhere from 4 to 6 weeks.
Ooh.
So
okay. That's who's that? Joe Flacco or
Flacco, yes.
White going to be
Flacco.
the starting quarterback?
Flacco.
Flaccid. Joe Flaccid.
But the point is, CJ Mosley being the number 10 linebacker here, if he stays healthy, he's going to have to anchor that defensive lineup. Now, let's remember what they added to that defense, right? They got Sauce Gardner. They got Johnson. They got, I forgot what else they got on defense. But then they went and got a top-tier wide receiver in the draft. This is the thing. CJ Mosley's going to have to anchor all these guys.
Oh.
He's going to have to. If he does not, that defense is going to fall apart. But last year, again, he wasn't healthy, but he played 16 games. There's a difference between hurt and nicked up, 16 games. 103 tackles, 2 sacks, 2 pass defense. I think his number is going to get improved with the help of Johnson rushing on the end, Sauce covering with the other cornerback. If the safeties do their job, and the defensive line do their job, Moses is going to make a lot of tackles. Go ahead, JT.
You just said that CJ Mosley wasn't healthy, and then you turn around and said he had 103 tackles. Well, if he wasn't healthy, if I wasn't healthy and playing
football, he has to stay healthy.
Okay.
The last couple of years, he has not been healthy.
Okay. Well, there's only one season, Victor, and that was the season before where he only played 2 games.
Oh my God!
Ever since he's been in the league, he played at least 15
ever since
games.
Ever since he's been on the Jets, he has not completed a season.
He did it last season. 16.
There's 17 games in the season, Jerry. He missed one.
Okay, one game, and he had 103 tackles. What? What? 103 games.
Okay.
And 65 assists. Come on, he was in on 168 tackles.
Okay.
Only missed one game. Only one game. And since he's been in the league, he's played at least 14 games. At least 14 games. And the 14th year, the year that he played 14 games, it was a 16-game season. So he's been consistent. Last season, 2019 was an outlier. He didn't play in 2020 because I think he got hurt completely. And then he came back in 2021 and played.
It was COVID.
COVID. Okay.
He set out for COVID.
Okay. And so this is in my opinion, a prime guy to pick up in IDP in fantasy for me.
Okay. What you got, Tony?
The system for Mosley, and if you watch his career from college to pro, and even I saw some of his high school stuff when I was stationed down in Florida. He's a system linebacker. While if the system is built for him to succeed, he's good. The problem is not, even though he beat a number 1 on defense, when he was in Baltimore and when he was in college, he wasn't necessarily number 1. There was enough talent around him to match any deficiencies he had in his game, which wasn't that many. And with the Jets, for the Jets to ask him to be the number 1, to be the Ray Lewis of that defense, they're going to ask a lot, especially now with their quarterback out. They're going to ask a lot of him. Now, will his numbers improve? Probably. But the problem is going to be how much, like you're saying, how much of a toll they're going to take on him mentally and physically. And if it does, who else in that defense will pick up that slack? And I don't think right now that defense can pick up any slack that he slacks off for. So still give him a top 10 linebacker. But again, the system has to be right. You got that right coordinator, right defensive system in there.
Well, he has his coordinator back from Baltimore, which is key because the Jets hired the fired defensive coordinator from Baltimore. So there's going to be a lot of man. That's why I said if Johnson, who's a draft pick, and Sauce Gardner, who's a draft pick, we lost your picture, Tony. If they have an impact and Mosley can do his job, his numbers will improve. He just needs a little bit of help, like you just said. All right, JT, going on. My number 9 guy. He's new to this team. And this team lost a couple solid players on defense. Now, the impact of those players, one being Zadarius Smith, might be a killer for this player. My number 9 guy plays for the Green Bay Packers, DeAndre Campbell. Last year, 16 games, 101 tackles, 2 sacks, 5 pass defense, 2 interceptions, 1 fumble recovery, and he finished 4th amongst linebackers. Again, that was when he was with Arizona, if I'm not mistaken. He moves on to the Packers, and he's a very, very good linebacker for IDP. Now, with that being the case, we're in the top 10, top 12. So these are players that you might have your option of getting as your starting IDP. Devondre Campbell, JT, talk to me.
Ever since he got into the league, 16 games. First season in the league, 11 games. After that, since 2017, he's played 16 games. And he's been outstanding. He's been crazy. When you got 5 pass defense, 2 interceptions, and 44 assists with 101, like I said, 101 tackles. He's all around the football, whether it's in the run game or in the pass game. All around, very good linebacker. 6'4", 232, 29 years old. Prime of his life. I love this kid. I really like this kid a lot.
Okay. So Tony, the question, since JT loves him a lot, he's 29 years old. He's been in the league for a while. He's active, but he's on that Green Bay Packer team that lost Zadarius Smith, that lost a couple linebackers and a safety or 2. Your thoughts on him being my number 9, and what do you think he can do?
Oh, I mean, like JT said, he's in the prime of his career. He's going to need to take that next step. He's going to need, and I hate to say it, he's going to need Rashawn Gary to step up number 1 supposed to have. Otherwise, like you said, he's not necessarily going to struggle, but the defense is going to struggle. Plus, that defense for the last 2 years have had issues of staying healthy. So,
Yep.
Being the healthiest of the players they had on defense and being as consistent as he is, yeah, he's worthy of a top 7, top 5 rating. He's just going to need some help if they're going to go any further than they made last year.
Okay. JT, that takes us to number 8.
Okay.
You're not going to like my number 8 because you're going to have my 8 higher. I already know this. And I'm going to tell you why he's number 8 in my book. He's number 8 in my book mainly because I don't like the defense he's on. And if you cannot keep the guards and the fullbacks or the tight ends off of your linebackers, meaning the front 4, like Tony said, Watson has a laydown 4. I don't agree, but that's what he said. you're not going to do well or as well as you could. This guy has been a staple on this team, but this team has had some major problems, some major problems. They got a new coach now. They are trying to maintain the system, but change the system. I don't know if they're a man team or a zone blitz team, but I will tell you this. Eric Hendricks is my number 8. Eric Hendricks. His numbers from last year: 15 games, 81 tackles, 5 sacks, 4 pass defense, 2 interceptions, and 1 fumble recovery. So, JT, knowing this, and I know you don't like where I got him, I already know. Talk to me about Eric Hendricks.
He's a decent player. I mean, quite naturally, they changed coaching staff, and I don't know too much about the defensive coordinator and what type of defense they're going to run. But he's around the ball. I don't even know if you put the 5 sacks on it. He had 5 sacks, 4 pass defense, and 2 interceptions. So he is around the ball, including the passing game, regardless of the assists or solo tackles. So I do like Eric Kendrick. I don't have him.
Yeah, Kendricks. I'm sorry.
Yeah, that's what I said, Eric Kendricks.
Yeah, I was making a mistake.
Okay. But you're right. I don't like him. Well, let me put it this way. I have him a tick higher, believe it or not.
I believe you.
He is one of the players that you do want to pick up, in my opinion, in IDP. But we have to wait and see. I'm not exactly sure. Like I said, I'm not exactly sure what type of defensive scheme that the defensive coordinator is going to run in order to take advantage of his skill set.
Yep. Okay, Tony, what you think about Eric Hendricks at number 8?
Hendricks, who you play for again?
Minnesota.
Okay, yeah, they're it's going to come down to the defensive scheme. And like I said, Minnesota never been known for a great defensive scheme, probably the Denny Green days. So, it'll come down to that, especially with I was about to say Hunter. I can't think of the dude that they let go. The senior dude they had, was it Barr? Yeah, Anthony Barr is gone.
Yeah. And Barr's in Dallas now.
Yeah. So with that, with Barr gone, now he takes on more of a leadership role in that defense. So yeah, it'll come down to the system is run, how will he adjust to the new system, and then they're gonna be on the field like Kirk Cousins. But he's a decent one. Yeah, I'd take him high in top 5, top 5, top 6.
All right. Well, right now let's go to my number 7. And I've had him in my top 3 a couple years. Last year he suffered a bad injury. But this guy's a tackling machine. People don't realize it, but he's a tackling machine. And with the addition of one player that may or may not show up, I think my number 7 guy in the Big Apple, wearing that blue.
You mean number 6? Because I think you just said that Kendricks was number 7.
No, Kendricks was number 8. Number 7 is Blake Martinez. I love Blake Martinez ever since he was with the Green Bay Packers. But last year, he only played 3 games. As I said, he got injured. He had 11 tackles in those 3 games. It's easy to slide him down and say, oh, he's not going to do it. You know, he's come back off of an injury, blah, blah, blah. But prior years, the guy was averaging 90-plus solo tackles, right? 4 straight years of that. 90-plus. Now, Jerry talked about ACL injuries and things of that nature. and I get it. ACL for linebacker. You know what? I don't think I've seen or heard too many ACL injuries for linebackers or them returning after ACL injuries. But I think Blake stands a good chance of being one of those players that picks up where he left off. Your thoughts, JT?
You got to look at the comments. Oh my God!
I'm about to. I've been ignoring the comment. Hey, what up, Q? And what did he say? Can we just have Jerry do the show? He's Hey, Tori. I love you, mi amigo. And I'm gonna deport your ass.
Oh my God! Anyway, I like Blake Martinez. Guy coming off an ACL. He's a linebacker, man. So a linebacker's got to be able to do almost as much as a running back, being able to cut and plant and whatever. So he's got to gain the confidence in his knee, mentally and physically.
Yes.
And it takes, in my opinion, because the position he plays, it's going to take a season, in my opinion.
Season?
It's going to take a season. I mean, he's going to be out in the field. He's going to be medically cleared to play, but how well is he going to play coming off in the ACL? That's what that's the point I'm making. How confident mentally and physically is he going to be able to live up to the 16 games he played for the last 4 seasons prior to that, and at least 90 tackles? Is he going to be able to do that? That's what the Giants are expecting him. Not he played for the Packers and did that. Now the Giants, because he came to the Giants and expecting that, he only played 3 games for the Giants. So
last year, the year before, he played a full season.
I understand that, but that was with the Giants. But they're looking for him to come back and being able to play the same way that he majority of his career he played for the Packers so far.
Oh, okay. I understand what you're saying.
So we'll see what happens. Most guys, as you know, I try to tell you, most guys that suffer a knee injury, an ACL or major knee injury, it takes a season for them to supposedly come back to their playing ability. They usually have to take the time, one season, to acclimate themselves mentally and physically to playing football the way they used to playing football in order to come back. So it's to me, it's a wait and see. And if I'm picking a guy up in fantasy for IDP, he ain't a wait and see for me.
So you're not touching him?
He ain't. You understand the words that are coming out of my mouth?
Or you want to play?
Do you understand the word that coming
Obviously not, because I'm asking you to clarify.
Do you understand the words that are coming out of my mouth? I ain't touching them.
Okay. All right.
Ain't touching them.
Okay. All right, Tony. What you think?
Yeah, expectations at middle linebacker, like JT is saying, are high. You can't, coming off an injury like that, they ask a lot of you. And then you're in an NFC heavy, where a lot of teams had some decent 1-2 combos at running back. To ask them to do all that on a newly constructed ACL could be asking a lot of a guy on the first year. Like you said, the second year maybe, but the first year back, I wouldn't be too. I wouldn't have him at that high.
Really? Even though he's a proven machine?
You got to pay attention to the injury, man.
Yeah. No, I got it.
You got to pay attention to. I don't pay attention. You know that I don't pay attention to freaking names. I pay attention to exactly what I see, and all I see is a guy coming off a major knee injury, an ACL, and that's a red flag for me, a huge red flag.
Okay, not a problem. So My number six guy is one of those tweeners that we talked about. I could have put this guy as a defensive lineman because he's an edge rusher, but he's listed as an outside linebacker. And he's up this high because he makes plays not only rushing the quarterback, but dropping in coverage. Young kid. And I don't believe I have him up this high, but I do. And I don't believe that I'm going to tout this kid. I know, Tony's wife would, but I got to give it to the Cowboy. Micah Parsons is my number 6 ranked individual defensive player. The reason why is because Micah, as I said, is constantly around the ball. He's chasing that. In 16 games, he has 64 tackles, right? 64 tackles. 13 of those were sacks. 3 pass defense in his rookie year. I'm not saying he's the next LT. I'm not saying he's the next Derek Thomas or anything like that because he's the body type and plays like them. But can he do it consistently? Those 2 players, well, Lawrence Taylor's a household name. People that can remember Derek Thomas prior to his death, he was a beast. Go get the quarterback. Supposed to draw back in coverage? Go get the quarterback. That's what Micah Parsons does. But they line him up at middle linebacker, outside linebacker, and edge rusher. They use him all over the field in a cover 3. Okay, a cover 3 is only, just like a cover 2, Tampa 2, is only good against the run or against any type of offense is if you have a powerful pass rush or run stuffing ability. This kid plays, he balls. JT, your thoughts, Micah Parsons?
Well, I understand he had a very good year, but a key guy, in my opinion, left the Cowboys, Randy Gregory.
But they got Barr, and they went and got somebody else to cover up the defensive end.
Oh, okay. So how are they going to mesh, and how is Michael Parsons going to mesh in that defense with new players that are not with the Cowboys? Some new players.
That's a valid question.
Okay, so not now because of what he showed the prior year, his rookie year. They're going to probably ask more of him to do. Is he going to be able to come up to the task? Is he going to be able to stay in for 16 games? Now you say it's 17-game season, Victor. You had talked about a player that missed one game and criticized that player for missing one game. This guy missed one game. Okay.
He also played out of position for 5 of those 16 games he played.
Did he play? Yes, he played. Okay, so the fact is he was on the field and did what he was supposed to do. That's why they expanded his role. Okay. What's it going to look like from 2021 to 2022 with new players on defense?
Well, DeMarcus Lawrence is still there at the edge. They still got a decent defensive tackle set. You put Michael Parsons on the same side as Anthony Barr. One's going to drop, one's going to rush. They're the same player, except one's younger than the other. I think Parsons is more explosive. I think Parsons has the ability to read the coverage better or react to the coverage better.
Okay.
But you got options there. But it is what it is. What you got, Tony?
I like to see it, like you said, I like to see him do it more than 1 year. And I look at when you look at rookie players, a lot of teams, they don't necessarily scheme for them, but they don't necessarily know what they're getting. And so was his rookie season an aberration, or can he do it again? And that'll be the question if he can do it again. Now, again, he plays in a division that he can thrive in, but outside of those 6 games, the other games that he's going to play in, I'm curious to see how well he'll excel in that defense. Is he a talent? Yeah, he's a tremendous talent. But again, Saquon Barkley is a tremendous talent. His second year didn't go as great either. So
He blew out his knee. Of course. Okay, I'm not going to defend Saquon. Watch out for Saquon this year. I bet you have a better year than CMC. That's just me. They know where I'm going.
Put your money where your mouth is, brother.
I bet
Put your money where your mouth is, brother.
I most likely will, JT.
I guarantee McCaffrey have a better year than Saquon.
Yep.
I don't think that's going to happen. But we're not talking about running backs. That's
Put
a different
your money
show.
where your mouth is.
That's a different show. But here we go. We're going to move on to the top 5. Since we're going to go to the top 5, and I didn't do it earlier, I'm going to play this.
Carrying the ball 20 times a game requires power and valor, not nestiness. The water bug and whippet backs rarely survive the wail and howl of the banshee. Stacked defenses in the pros. They must meld the buck of a billy goat with the sudden surge of a sprinter. He does not move with polish or slickness. His method is not Grand Prix, but demolition derby.
Hey, Victor.
I want winners.
Go ahead.
The best thing about me looking at this Commander and
We're not on that.
the best thing in looking about this Commander and Panthers team is the cheerleaders. They give you a better game than what I'm seeing.
You know what? Okay. On to the top 5 linebackers. This loser. I mean, this person. The fact that Baker Mayfield is not even playing in this game or in this half, and they got Walker in there.
He did play though.
He did play. He played. He played the first. I guess at least the first series. He may have played 2 series.
Oh, I thought Darnold started.
No, Darnold did not start. No.
Ooh!
Series. Donald had 2 series, and now they got Walker finishing it up.
Yeah.
Ooh! Big. Okay, anyway, let's focus. And number 5, don't you start with me, JT.
Let me put this.
Don't start. Don't start.
Let me put this.
Let me move.
It's only convenient when you want to talk about the subject matter versus what we're doing.
Fred Warner is my number 5. Now look.
Really? Okay.
I like Fred Warner. That 49 defense, I like that defense.
Mm-hmm.
I think DeMeco Ryans has got them working, clicking. Right? Robert Saleh left. DeMeco Ryans with a good defense. They lost some key players, but they got Bosa and they got Fred Warner. I'm telling you, all Trey Lance got to do is not turn the ball over and matriculate the rock down the field, and this defense is going to be nice. Last year in 16 games, Fred Warner had 79 tackles, a half of a sack, 4 pass defense, 3 fumble recoveries. So he's around the ball, always around the ball. This guy, when he first burst on the scene, a couple years ago, about 3 years ago, if I'm not mistaken?
2018.
Yeah, so 4 years ago now. He surprised a lot of mofos. And because of that, I'm loving what I think he's going to do, especially after looking at what happened with Jordan Love yesterday. I know Fred didn't play, but that defense, without its starters in there for most of the game, still look pretty damn good. I expect Fred Warner to have probably a 20 tackle bump. I'm not gonna say he'll get any sacks because they normally don't blitz their linebacker. He's normally covering that back out the backfield. That's his responsibility normally, or carrying the tight end up the seam. But he's around the ball. I like Fred Warner as my number 5. JT.
I love Fred Warner, man. I mean, this guy is what you want in a linebacker, and then some. 25 years old, man. 25 years old, and not less than 79 tackles in a season since 2018. I love Fred Warner. Plain simple.
Okay.
I don't have to say too much more because he's played ever since he got into the league. He's played consistently since 2018. The same way, giving you the same type of numbers, maybe a little bit better in assists or pass defense or maybe sacks or whatever. He's not a big sack guy, but he's decent in the passing game. So he's a great all-around linebacker and a good complement to what they have up front in San Francisco.
Absolutely. Tony.
Yeah, JT said it all. It's like, like I said, if you had to say one person was a prototypical linebacker in the NFL and does it all, it would have to be Fred Warner. They don't, like I said, even with the changes in coordinating they've had the last couple of years, he's been one of the most consistent in that defense and keep them not necessarily in games, but make sure that they're in games. So yeah, I'd have him as a top 2 linebacker.
Okay. All right. And if not for these players I'm about to mention, he would be. The player I'm about to pull up, I've already talked about earlier on in the show. And in some people's eyes, he's the number 1 rated IDP overall individual defensive player, as well as the overall individual defensive player at the linebacker position. But I don't have him that high. One, I'm worried about what's going to happen with him throughout the season. Is he going to get traded before the season begins? Is he going to sit out some games? What's going to happen with my number 4 player who has been on the Chicago Bears? And I think you put it up there, Tony. The Bears screw over everybody, but I don't think they're screwing him over. I'm talking about my number 4 player, Roquan Smith, former Alabama player, or Georgia. I can't remember which one. I think it's Alabama. Last year, 17 games played, 95 total tackles, 3 sacks, 3 pass defense, 1 interception, and 1 touchdown. Look, there have been times, and people below him had more tackles. Let's be clear about this. People below him had more tackles and were more active than him. Here's my thought process on Roquan. There's nobody else on the Bears to make the tackles. No one else. So if he's not making a tackle or he's not in on the tackle, person's probably not getting tackled. I like the guy. The reason why I have him at number 4 is because we don't know where he's going to be and what his status is going to be with the Bears. Now, I had him at number 2 before all this stuff took place, but I had to take him off because it's uncertain. It's just a lot of uncertainty. So, JT, Roquan Smith.
I don't have a problem with you having here. I mean, to me, I rate him a little higher, obviously. Higher, maybe 2 or 1 or whatever. But you have him at 3, that's fine. He's one of the better linebackers in the NFL, and the best linebacker on the Chicago Bears now. I don't think there's any competition there about that.
Yeah.
So they're going to have to, for him to do a lot, expect a lot for him to do, because the fact is he's one of the best talents on their defense. So,
all right, Tony.
Yeah, Roquan Smith, just to he went to Georgia. He was the one that told Baker Mayfield stop looking at the scoreboard in that Rose Bowl game.
You had to throw that in there, didn't you?
Baker, yes,
You had
Baker.
to throw that in there.
Damn right.
Yeah. But
Shut up, Jerry.
yeah, he's the best. The Bears have no choice but to resign him. Why they waiting to procrastinate? No idea. Because like I said, he's the best thing they got going, especially since they shipped off Khalil Mack.
Yep.
So yeah, he's probably, like I said, top two, top three linebacker in the league, no matter what system he's in. Because that's kind of how he played at Georgia too. It's like you can put him anywhere, middle, inside, outside. He's gonna find the ball. He's gonna find the running back, find the quarterback. So, yeah, it's just like I said. The Bears are the Bears. They're this century's Detroit Lions. They're the 1990s Detroit Lions. Basically, they have all the talent in the world, but don't know how to figure it all out.
That's actually a very good comparison. And they just lost Keneal Harry for several weeks, if I'm not mistaken, who they got from the Patriots to go with Darnell Mooney. I say bring in Emmanuel Sanders. You got a veteran, a guy that can catch the ball, and a guy that will help develop Darnell Mooney. He's got hands. There's not that many receivers out there right now that they can get with the experience, the hands, and the body. But that's just me. We're not talking about offense today.
Well, you are.
You know what? Be quiet. We're gonna talk about Deshaun and like
you keep on interjecting offensive remarks in this defensive-minded show. Why? I don't understand.
Because you are offensive.
But wait a minute. But you're restricting Tony and I from commenting.
Listen, tomorrow when you do the master plan about your offensive players, you and Tony can say what you want, because I'm gonna say what I want. I'm gonna be live and direct for that one. But anyway, moving on to number 3. Now, this name is not a household name. We're like, Mr. FSP, Vic, how can it be a top 3 IDP and not be a household name? Simple. The team this guy plays on is not one of the better teams in the NFL. The team this guy plays on is not on TV a lot. Not anymore. Certainly won't be this year. But this guy, he's a baller. My number 3 guy plays for the Seattle Seahawks. And he's a beast. Jordan Brooks. In 17 games, 108 tackles, 1 sack, 5 pass defense, 1 fumble recovery. Now, he did this, mind you, with Bobby Wagner there. He now takes over for Bobby Wagner. I don't think there's any mistake. Jordan Hicks is Brooks. I'm sorry. Jordan Brooks is a dog and will be a dog. No ifs, and buts, or Buddha Bakers about it. Talk to me, JT.
I ain't got no issue with it. I agree. He's not a household name. A lot of people don't know, but people that are familiar with IDPs know this guy.
Mm-hmm. What you got, Tony?
Yeah, like you said, he was hidden in that Kansas City. He was hidden inside that Seattle defense and still made a name for himself. So yeah, I give him again. The defense this year will I mean the team. I ain't say the defense. The team will have to rally around him because they ain't got much to work with.
And I think he's a player that you can count on as an IDP.
Yeah, he'll be there. Yeah, because that defense is gonna be on the field a lot this year.
Exactly. Yeah. That's the key to having an IDP as well. Get a player that makes a lot of plays, and you know they're going to be on the field a lot to make the play. A person I did not put in here that I'm kind of regretting not putting in here, because I'm at the top 2 now, is Denzel Perryman for the Raiders. That Joker is going to have one hell of a season because of Chandler Jones, because of Crosby. He had a good year last year. And now he's got 2 bookends to get that pressure and defensive tackles that can keep the guards and the new fullback for the Raiders, well, a fullback or H-back for other teams off of him. And he covers too. So that's an honorable mention. I didn't have many here, but just somebody I want you guys to think about. Perryman. My number 2 guy. He's got a partner that I listed in here earlier. Young, kind of reminds me of Derek Brooks, plays for the same team, and is all over the field. My number 2 guy plays for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. He wears number 45 because his partner wears 54. And I'm talking about Mr. Devin. Get out of my hair white. 17 games, 87 tackles, 3.5 sacks, 3 pass defense. Now you might say, Mr. FSP, there are other players that have better numbers than him. Kind of, sort of. Jerry will tell you how many assisted plays he was in on. His availability and as well as his work ethic make him a sideline to sideline, 3-down linebacker. He's I'm telling you, ladies and gentlemen, you won't miss if you have Devin White. Talk to me, JT.
There was 2 Devins that got drafted in the same year. Devin Bush, Devin White. Obviously, this is the better of the 2 Devins. And they've reaped the rewards ever since they drafted him in 2019. Talking about the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. This guy is a beast in the linebacker department and plays the type of defense that his head coach likes. So I agree with Devin White. I'm sorry. Devin White. I agree.
Tony, talk to me.
Yeah, you got to run with him at the 1 or 2 spot. Like I said, he's young. He runs the defense for the most part. And yeah, sideline to sideline, end zone to end zone, you're going to get 110% out of him every play. So, yeah, he's worthy. Like I said, in these IDP leagues, he's worthy of having. Like I said, they're not on the field a lot as some other linebackers in this top 15, but when he's on the field, he's going to make a play. So,
absolutely. That brings us to our number 1 spot, and I wish I had the music from Ludacris. Dun, 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 coming for that number 1 spot.
Oh, my God. God help me.
Really?
Yeah.
Really, JT?
Really.
Just because of you, JT.
Absolute power. Corrupt. Absolutely.
Absolutely. So
I've got that.
tell me.
Power.
Tell me your number 1.
Number 1 should be obvious. This guy moved from one team to another, but every year this guy's been a top 3 linebacker and IDP player.
Oh, no. Don't tell me you're going to go with this guy.
Now,
oh, my God.
When you put Aaron Donald in front of him.
Oh, my God. Are you serious? Are you serious?
Vic and Wagner is my number 1 IDP. Let me explain, ladies and gentlemen. Bobby Wagner, without a dominant defensive line, was one of the better linebackers in the league. You give him Aaron Donald that's going to free him up to shoot those gaps, to make a play in the backfield as opposed to in space, because he's good at both. I know he's old, JT. I got it. He's like your age. But Bobby Wagner, 16 games, on a team that was going nowhere and was not doing that well, who had Jordan Brooks get more tackles than him. In 16 games, he had 93 tackles, 1 sack, 5 pass defense, 1 interception. I look for this guy. I look for Bobby Wagner to finish with almost 120 tackles this year. I look for him to finish possibly an interception or 2, maybe not 3 like he had in the past. But I think he's going to be all over the field because Aaron Donald is a wrecking machine up front. Sharif Floyd is a good player on the edge. I don't know why, but people are still scared of the cornerback. He got exposed. I love Ramsey, but he better go to a zone coverage because man ain't his thing no more. But Bobby Wagner in that Rams defense, it's about to be on and popping. I know you don't like it, but go ahead and say what you're going to say, JT.
I don't know. This is the reason why I don't like it. I mean, he's a good player. He was on the Seattle Seahawks. And you talked about it earlier about his counterpart that was a linebacker also. Because it's a bad offense, the defense is going to be on the field a lot. Well, this is the exact opposite to me. That the offense is not going to be on the field a lot, and they're not going to be running the football. They're going to be passing the football. Because the fact is because the Los Angeles Rams are one of the highest scoring teams in the NFL
last year.
So the fact is this: most teams that are going up against the Rams, quite naturally, are going to start off trying to run the football to keep the ball away from the offense of the Rams. But sooner or later, when the Rams get in front of them, they're going to be throwing the football with less chances to get tackles from the running game for a linebacker. So I don't know if he's going to have the astronomical numbers that he had the last few seasons he would with the Seattle Seahawks because the fact he may not have those opportunities.
So
that's what I'm saying.
I understand what you're saying, but this is why I totally disagree with what you're saying.
Okay.
And Tony, you can jump in once I finish. There's a problem with Matthew Stafford's arm. They say it's tendonitis. I think it's more than tendonitis. I think it's something that is going to prevent him from finishing out the year, maybe finishing out the first month of the NFL season. I think he's going to get banged up quite a bit. Without Matthew Stafford pulling that trigger, I think it's going to be a tough go for Cooper Kupp and the rest of that offense. Translation, the defense is on the field a lot more. We went over their schedule. There's not really an easy team for them to beat this year. It really isn't. Bobby Wagner can play in space. I said that earlier. He's not just a run-stopping linebacker. He can play in space. He doesn't come off the field.
Well, 32 years old.
I understand that. I understand that. But at 31 and 30, he was still leading that team in tackles. Well, last year he didn't lead him in tackles. But year before that, he led him in tackles. And he's been a top 3 tackler or IDP player for the past 4 to 5 years. I think he makes it as the top tier IDP linebacker this year because we don't know what's going on with Raekwon Smith in this situation. I love the fact that Bobby now has Aaron Donald in front of him to help him. Sharif Floyd is coming off the edge. I think Bobby has a good shot. What do you think, Tony?
No, I think, like you said, I think like that age and that defense. Now, is it going to be a bigger workload on them? Probably. Because does it help to have Aaron Donald in front? Yes. But does it hurt to have Jalen Ramsey or that defensive backfield that can't cover as well as they used to? That all bodes well for them. The problem is the older you get, the less reliable your body becomes. And I think in his case, while he's been consistent throughout his career, I think Father Time, especially at the linebacker position, will eventually catch up to him. And this may be the season where while he got paid to go to the Rams, I think this may be the season where it catches up to him, and he's not able. I say he'll finish the season, but again, he's not going to be that 120, 140 plus tackle. He's not going to have more than 100 tackles this year. And again, most of that, I look at it as most to be garbage tackles, as they're going to call them, because if Aaron Donald and that front four don't get it, then yes, he'll ultimately have the opportunity. His age and health is what's going to deter me from having him at that number one spot.
I mean, both you guys make fair and valid points. I'm not disputing his age, but I'm looking more so as a positive for his ability to play through the players that are ahead of him. People don't have to touch him. People don't have to get up on him because that front four is going to do their job. But again, just my rankings, my stuff. Now, that will conclude top 15 fantasy IDPs at linebacker. Next week, I plan to tackle the secondary. So corners and safeties. I don't have too many corners in my top 15. I tell you that right now. Because if you're a top tier corner, you're not getting the ball thrown to you. You're not. That's just the truth. But I think somebody like Stephon Gilmore, who might get tested a little bit because he's a little older, but he's still a very good corner, and he's playing in a cover 2. He's playing in a cover 2, Tampa 2. He'll have opportunities. We'll see. But y'all anything on these IDPs before we transition to talking about Deshaun Watson and the Cleveland Browns from yesterday? Since y'all been dogging out Carson from a so-called honest Washington fan.
I mean, you not to look forward, but I was like, seriously, if you really think Carson Wentz is gonna last more than this season, let alone half the season, yeah,
I didn't say that.
You're not really realistically looking at what they're obviously trying to do.
No, I agree with you. I think he sucks. I'm mad that we didn't wait for Matt Ryan. But let's talk about the performance of yesterday, JT.
What performance?
Oh, yeah, the terrible performance.
I'm gonna keep it real. What performance? There was no performance. That looked like a fifth string quarterback throwing the football, overthrowing, underthrowing, not accurate, and
he didn't get his massage.
But to be honest, because I watched this team, I watched it. To be honest, the whole offense was dysfunctional. The whole offense was dysfunctional.
That's
not just the quarterback. The quarterback had to do with it, but fumbling the football, dropping passes. Come on, man. To be real, that whole offense looked like hot garbage. I don't know. They looked like they weren't ready to play. Looked like they hadn't practiced in a year, and it reflected until they got themselves together. Maybe it was because they
after Deshaun was out of the game. Yeah.
After Deshaun left the game, then Dobbs, which would surprise me, showed better than Deshaun, but he's playing against what, second and third string. So I'm just keeping it real. He playing against second and third.
Deshaun going against second and third strings.
Well, it doesn't make a difference. I'm just saying the skill level. You know the skill level of Deshaun Watson, and you know the skill level of Dobbs, who hadn't played in a regular season game or started a regular season game. I don't think ever. May he play, but he never started a regular season game, and he played well. He played well up until the time. I don't know when they pulled him out, if they ever pulled him out. He played well for the rest of the game. But the whole offense as a whole, the beginning of the game, they played like hard garbage. Plain and simple, they were bad, really bad, really bad.
Led by somebody that was really bad because he didn't get his prescribed treatments.
Prescribed what?
his prescribed treatments.
Oh, well,
Treatments.
It is. It is what it is. I mean, you see what happens.
Yeah,
I mean,
that's his kryptonite. He needs those treatments in order to
let me put it. Let me put it this way. That this showing was not a good showing, and it may be the only showing that he gets in preseason. That's the real fact. That's keeping it really real. He may not play the second preseason game next week because of what may happen. I'm surprised. I'm surprised the ruling didn't come down before this to prevent him from being on the field.
It drew a lot of media attention.
That's the nature of the beast, man. He put himself in this position. He said it in an interview with Edie Kinkawala before the game.
Who does not like him, by the way?
Huh?
She does not like him.
Who doesn't like him?
Kinkawala.
What makes you say that?
Throughout the entire process, she was trying to remain unbiased. Unbiased. But when the decision came down, she made some comments that could be viewed as very slanted towards how could the NFL allow this to happen?
Okay.
Type situation.
And
what it is.
And Deshaun still did an interview with her.
I get it. She did her job and he did his job.
Yeah.
But the personal feelings of, like, whenever I have to go talk to somebody that I just can't stand, but I know I have to talk to them to get the job done, I do it. That doesn't change my feelings on them. Now, we talk about that, but Tony, I would like your feelings on, did you even see how Mr. Randy Watson performed yesterday?
Yeah, I caught the first half of that game. And again, like you said, for a preseason game, for a guy that hadn't played in a year.
By choice.
Yeah. Well, it wasn't by choice. Houston told him.
No. Houston did not sit him. You got to go back and see. He decided he was not going to play for Houston. So they agreed that he was going to sit. Houston did not want him to sit. But go ahead.
Okay. Well, either way. He looked rusty. So, yeah, it's not a good look. And like JQ was saying, he's probably not going to get another shot to play this preseason. With that being said, unfortunately, and I know the NFL wants to go back and re-adjudicate it, but part of their collective bargaining agreement, basically, even as egregious as most of what was claimed to be done by Watson, the league, like the most the league could ask, and that's why that judge gave the ruling she gave, the most the league could ask for through the collective bargaining agreement was 6 games. Now, why are they seeking more? And again, I asked the same question. Why are they seeking more when, in fact, you have owners like Stephen Ross tanking on purpose with evidence of taking on purpose?
But then they claim he didn't. Oh, I know what you're talking about.
You got that, and then you got Robert Kraft, even though he never was charged criminally. There's video. I mean, we don't have any video evidence, anything Deshaun Watson got. There's video evidence of what Robert Kraft did, and he didn't lose a single draft pick. I think he got fined like $250,000, which again, to a billionaire, $250,000 to them is chump change.
Yeah.
So,
Daniel Snyder with a horrendous sexual harassment. Come on, man.
Yeah, the fact that they don't have 24 owners that are like, Daniel Snyder, you got to go. I mean, they were quick to let Jerry Richardson go. They were quick to let McNair go when he made the plantation sentiments a couple years ago. Why is it that this workplace stuff with Dan Snyder, they're all on pins and needles? Like, well, I'm gonna wait and reserve judgment. Now, granted, Washington has been a top 5 evaluated team since he's been there, but again, I look at it from not necessarily team evaluation. I look at it from a win-loss record along with team attendance record. Attendance for Washington has gone down tremendously. Like, they're back for kids. They were waitlist. I know I joined the Washington Redskins back in the day. I joined the Washington Redskins waitlist in 2006 when I was in Japan, and I was number like 300,000 to get on their waitlist. You could probably get on their waitlist now without any hesitation because nobody wants to go to the games.
Nope.
And the thing about it is this, and this was brought up. I saw this, and I didn't think about it until the person brought it up. The Houston Texans settled with 30 people, and no one in the press is asking, just like they asked the commissioner about, oh, what about the Houston Texans? Are they getting fined? Are they getting penalized in any way? No. Nobody's asked that question, and no one's answered that question.
Mhm.
You follow what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Listen, I'm not.
And they were inculpable. They were just as culpable because they knew what the hell was going on. They can.
Yeah, they according to the reports, they were facilitating the meet and greets for him. So
exactly.
Well, I'll put it this way: just like Randy Watson and sexual chocolate was facilitated by the church in coming to America, no one blamed the church for, I believe the children. Nobody did that. But listen, I just wanted to bring up the fact that Deshaun, and I'm not going to keep messing up his name on that, but Deshaun, when there were people coming at him, didn't look good. And if he's going to have to sit out for whatever period of time, because the NFL wants a full year, Goodell said he feels that everything was so egregious. And I would say this.
Come on, man.
Listen, let me finish. I would say this. The NFL shot itself in the foot if they wanted to get Deshaun Watson for a whole year. You let all 24 of those complaints go before that judge, not 5 or not 4. I think it's 4 or 5 complaints. You said all 24 or 20, well, it's 24 at the time, it ended up being 26, 28.
Yeah, but the problem was Tony brought it up.
Wait a minute. If the NFL really wanted to get Deshaun Watson for his egregious, as Roger Goodell said, situations, put all of those cases before that arbitrator and say, on this occasion do this, on this occasion do this, on this occasion, and they all have a pattern.
Well, the problem is this: they didn't feel that it was plausible to do that, and the fact is, in the CBA, 6 games. That's why the Sue Robin was hamstrung with that. She said the max I can give out is 6 games, and that's
I understand that, Jerry. You miss what I'm saying. You miss what I'm saying.
With past practices, and the
Jerry,
NFL
Jerry,
moved the goalposts.
Listen to me. Be quiet and listen for a second. If you want, because you understand the appeal process, right? They cannot use anything that was not already in the case.
Honestly,
wait a minute. And when they take it to federal court, they cannot take anything that was not presented in the original case. My point being, if you feel that Deshaun Watson deserved a full year suspension, whether Sue Robinson gives 6 games or not, or more, you present all 24 cases to substantiate your fact that this person was egregious. So when it goes to federal court, all of this is already in the system. So a federal court can decide, you know what, even though this is an arbitrary or arbitrated situation, these are the guidelines of the NFL, There have been situations where players have gotten year suspensions or year bans for egregious behavior. It didn't have to be sexual misconduct. It didn't have to be drug related, talking about Mr. Gordon. But there's a precedence for giving a year suspension based on egregious behavior. Now, if you're going to give, or what they did do, they gave Ezekiel Elliott 8 games for going to buy weed in a legal state and doing whatever. They gave him 8 games, right? He got it down to 6. The point is, if the NFL wants to really nail this guy to the cross, they should have put it all in. That's my thought
They,
process.
they didn't have that amount of cases that they could rely on that were solid enough. So they even whittled it down from 12 to 5 to 4, and they put those 4 in front of the judge because they felt they were the most
They were the best ones.
solid cases.
I get
Plain
it.
and simple.
No, listen.
And you're right. And you're right. They can't go beyond that when they present it to whoever after the fact, after Sue Robinson, because these are the cases that were involved, and they can't bring any outside information into that. They got to rely on what information was given to the original arbiter, and then they have to decide on that.
And that is why you cannot, as Roger Goodell, you cannot claim that there was an egregious amount of actions taken that say he deserves a heftier suspension.
Yeah, man. Let me put it this way, man.
Because they have shown themselves.
This is so wrong. You go. Wait
a minute. Hold up. Before you say that, we didn't give Tony a chance to reply. If he had anything to say before you get in there.
No, go ahead.
Okay. This is what I want to say. You get a handful, maybe a little more than a handful of reporters walking up to the commissioner and asking the commissioner what he thought. And the commissioner who picks the person that's going to make the final decision picks somebody that worked for him since like 2014, and he goes out and says, more or less, he regurgitated egregious behavior and whatever, and more or less said that I want it to be a year. Now, what's telling that person that who's working for him, who's making the final decision to do? And let me put it this way: who in their right mind, freaking mind, would go out and say publicly, I want this person for a year, and I'm the one that hired the person that's going to make the final decision. And if the person says, well, if I want to keep working for the commissioner in the NFL, I better do what he says. Hello.
I didn't say you were wrong.
That telling me the deck is stacked already.
Well, I feel you. I understand you. I'm not disagreeing with you. I just think that the NFL needed to present more if they're going to go for more. That's my whole stance. You got anything, Tony, before we get ready to get off the air?
No, like JT was saying, you can't hire somebody and tell them to do a job, and then once they do the job, you're like, well, we don't like the way you did the job, so we're going to get somebody else to do the job.
Right.
Like, how does she look now? Like you said, when future punishments come, no matter what the ruling is, the offenders along with the NFL are going to be like, well, I don't like what she said or how she ruled on it, so we want another shot at it. So Goodell and the NFL kind of look bad in this situation because if she probably took what they took case-wise, and she obviously took the precedent that the NFL set with the CBA. Yeah, 6 is the max I can give them, based on those. And if the most egregious was in those 4 cases, came out with 6 games, there's nothing else you can fight. Just deal with it. Now, is there going to be backlash? Obviously. There'll be backlash this year, but I can almost guarantee you come this time next season, it'll be an afterthought.
If he performs. All right, JT, with 20 seconds, tell me what's going to happen on the master plan. Don't dilly-dally.
I appreciate the time. A lot of time. I got a lot of time.
Dude!
Two round fantasy draft tomorrow, mock draft, and also wide receiver rankings. 10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time on the master plan. How's that?
All right. Ladies and gentlemen, we want to thank you for checking us out, hanging out with us, and doing what we do. We appreciate you. We will see you next week, Saturday, same bat time, same bat channel, where we go over DBs.
I'll be on YouTube. I'm exclusively on YouTube.
Exclusively on YouTube. See y'all next week.
Baker Mayfield stuff.
I knew you was
So does Carson Wentz. So does Kyler Murray.
Thank you.
Before I get all up in your face, I know you got to live. You know I got mine, but there's like 50 others.
10 seconds.
Your voice will be heard, sir. Next caller, please. And if I don't concur, we can agree to disagree.